Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation. Let's quickly jump into CoinGecko here and take a look at the market. We're sitting at a $2.2 trillion market cap for the cryptocurrency as a whole. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Binance Coin, everything has greens, a lot more green than we've had, the past couple of weeks. We got Shiba with a whopping 15, Doge 4.8, Avalanche 6%, Terra's at a 9.3, Dots at a 7.1, XRP sitting at a 4.1, sitting at 80 cents, Cardano sitting at a 9.1, Solana 7.4. I mean, all in all, there's just a lot more green than we've seen, uh, you know, with what's been going on the past couple of weeks in the space. First, I wanted to touch on something that CNBC posted up. Inflation rises 7% over the past year, highest since 1982. Here's some key points from the article. The Consumer Price Index inflation gauge, the measured costs across dozens of items, rose 7% in December from a year earlier, the fastest pace since June 1982. This was in line, however, with economists' estimates, and stock market futures rose after the release. Excluding food and energy, so-called core CPI was up 5.5% on the year, the biggest growth since February 1991. So coming down here, we could see that we're currently here at 7%, which seems pretty minuscule compared to back in the 80s at sitting at a 14.7%. But we're just starting 2022, so depending on what policy comes out, how the interest rates are affected, and just how our economy is affected through 2022. I mean, this can rise, and we can see. I guess we'll see, how high this does go. I mean, I doubt, they'll let it get all the way back up to, these highs, but I'm definitely expecting this to rise some more. So now, obviously, inflation affects our economy, especially our, purchasing power with the U.S. dollar a lot. So I'm going to come over some other stuff here. So they were talking about the CPI, increase up to 5.5% on the year. So if you just look at some supply chain stuff, so supply chain snacks continue to drive up prices in December. So you can just look at these annual price changes in December. So you have motor oils up 50%, fuel 41, used cars and trucks. Obviously, to even get a vehicle that you would want, in particular, it's extremely hard to do. I mean, the MSRP, I think that's what it's called, is skyrocketing because they can do that because everybody wants a new vehicle or a nice vehicle. We're still waiting on a vehicle. There's been issues with Tesla getting their chips for their vehicle, so we've been waiting 9 months for a vehicle. So this is crazy to see this. Car, truck rentals 36, hotels and motels 28. I mean, as you can see, all this stuff. You got beef 19, eggs 11. Suits, postage, computers, public transportation. It's just you could just see all this stuff increasing. So now, as we come over here, purchasing power of the U.S. dollar over time. So this is with inflation being crazy and just all these other impacts on the U.S. dollar. So you got the Federal Reserve Act creates a central bank with the ability to manage the country's money supply. The U.S. President Roosevelt criminalizes the possession of gold. And then you have the gold standard of the U.S. dollar as the world reserve currency. That's when it was established. The gold standard is abandoned. And then you have quantitative easing. The U.S. money supply grew to 3.8 trillion in 2020, equal to 20% of the dollars ever created. So as you could just see, it's just over time, our purchasing power is just decreasing and decreasing, decreasing, decreasing. So it's like back in the day, our parents can get things for, cheap. They'll get a movie for a quarter or a dollar, whatever the case is. Now we're easily paying what $20+ to enjoy a movie nowadays. Just everything in regards of buying things, houses, vehicles, just like how we saw in this supply chain stuff. Everything is just increasing in price, which is decreasing the our purchasing power. So our dollar is worth less. So with that, you need to find a way to hedge, the inflation and the lack of purchasing power within the dollar. So here's another image of, the purchasing power of the dollar, but this is in sats. So as you can see, 10 years ago, $1 US would get you 15 million sats. Now, as of a year ago, well, today says 2,283 sats for $1. But even a year ago, in comparison to this, you only get 2,000. We'll say 3,000. So you got 15.5 million sats versus 3,000 sats. I mean, that's just how nuts this inflation and purchasing power of the dollar has truly infected, our everyday lives. So then coming over here, here's just another performance by asset classes figure comparing 2019 and 2020. Obviously, we have 2021 and probably another diagram, and then eventually we'll have 2022 at the end of this year. But just to give you another visual, just to give more information here, this is showing you that when it comes to getting a hedge to protect your money and to have better performance of your assets you hold, you can see that Bitcoin has outperformed everything. I mean, it's continually outperformed everything. And if you look at a Bitcoin chart from its beginning days, it's literally a constant uptrend. It's massive what Bitcoin and the crypto space has offered. So when it comes to finding a hedge, gold and silver isn't the way anymore. So it's like, as of now at least, Bitcoin and the crypto markets offers that. And then came across this tweet by Blockworks, and it has ARK Invest director: crypto assets will be worth 40 trillion by 2030. So obviously based on her team's research and understanding of where this crypto market's going, they're setting out their predictions of the crypto market as a whole being worth 40 trillion. So obviously you saw in the beginning that we're currently sitting at 2.2 trillion. So we're talking about, we'll pretty much say a 20x from where we're at now, based off of their price prediction and of the total market cap of the crypto space. So we're talking about a 20x from everything. Look at these prices. I mean, Bitcoin's sitting at 43,000, Ethereum sitting at 3,300, XRP at 80 cents. So we're talking about a 20x. Who knows how far the space is going to grow and expand from today. I mean, obviously you saw even since 2015, the space and the crypto in general has exploded tremendously, thousands and thousands and thousands of percents of gains. And especially as more solid projects are coming out, even the solid projects that are around, the great L1s and like XRP, and obviously Bitcoin's going to do its thing, being the mothership. And then you have like Ethereum, like all these projects building out and solving real world use cases and really impacting our lives. There's going to be tremendous growth. Who knows? This can be minuscule, compared to what the market can actually be. Obviously, we've been seeing adoption has been massive, since 2020, since 2018. You have big, hedge funds putting, Bitcoin and crypto into their balance sheets, and you have a lot of investors that are coming in and just scooping up, all the Bitcoin and Ethereum and all these other assets that they can. And, even the whole retail investors, all of us retail investors have, trying to get as much and accumulate as much as we can with the funds we have to, set ourselves up and our families up for success, for our financial freedom and our life-changing wealth. So who knows where this space is going to go? Once, there's more adoption, once regulatory clarity and regulation is set in, you're going to have more people coming in as employees to work for these companies. More employees to these companies is going to help, tenfold the development of these companies. The more solid and smart workers you have for the company. Perfect example: if you work for Ripple, if they double their employees, they're going to have double productivity because they have more people working on it, which then is going to increase its utility, its use case, and its expansion around the world, and its ability to change our lives per the use case that it's for. And the same goes for all the other assets: Ethereum, your Solanas, all the other L1s and L2s and all the other things. And then you have the NFT space, and you have DeFi. There's so much going on. There's so many ways to make money in this market, and people see that this is the future. This is a way for us to change the course of our lives, to obtain financial freedom. You look back at when the internet came around, and you have the .com and all these other things, and they compare this space to that, but it's like, once the regulatory clarity and the regulation is there, and it's seen as safe, there's so much money on the sidelines per the the research I've been doing, and from what I've been seeing per articles and videos online, especially being in the Twitterverse. There's a lot of people posting great content there. There's so much money on the sidelines just waiting to jump in. So once that regulatory clarity and regulation comes in, who knows where this market's going to be. I truly believe, and I have high conviction, that we are literally going to be on the right side of history when it comes to investing into the crypto space. It's about doing your due diligence, research into the best of your abilities, invest in people, and don't just invest in undoxed and unknown people. Invest into solid projects that you truly have high conviction in, and hold strong. I just quickly wanted to come on here and kind of share kind of what's been going on with the inflation, how it affects our purchasing power of the dollar, how rates of everything's been going up over time. The purchasing power or the U.S. dollar in correlation with Satoshis, and then the U.S. dollar in relation to Sats. Just the different percent returns in regards to Bitcoin versus all the other asset classes. Who knows? This space is going to be massive. We're sitting at a 2.2. Let's go ahead and refresh and see where we're at. We're literally sitting at a 2.2. This is just the beginning. When people online, and especially the very detailed and researcher and savvy people out there that truly see where the space is going, like when they tell you that this is just the beginning, you got to believe it, because I truly believe it. We're talking, she said a 40 trillion by 2030. That's 8 years. That's a 20x of the whole entire market. It could be way more than that for all we know. So I just wanted to come on here and kind of have that conversation with you, kind of give my testimony on kind of what's going on. But with all that being said, stay strong out there.